One of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal, we often dismiss as, just for kids. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas to impact and upgrade our everyday lives. And in this series, we spend just a few minutes to look at the Torah portion of the week and gain such valuable insights for our modern day lives. What's with our imagination? Is it something that's just for kids? Is it something that we can harness in our lives? Is it something that is positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? Let me share with you an incredible story from this week's Torah portion that will give us an insight into our imagination. So Jacob is working for Lavan, and Lavan was a trickster. He didn't really want to pay Jacob, so they kept making up terms where Jacob would say, "I'll work for you, and any sheep that are born with spots will be my payment." And then what would happen is that lots of sheep with spots would be born. So Lavan would say, "No, let's change it," and he would say, "You know what?" Jacob would say, "All the black sheep that are born will be mine." And then that would happen again and again, that he kept changing the terms. And when he changed the terms, Jacob, loads of those types of sheep would be born. And then Lavan obviously didn't want to pay that much, so he would change the terms again. So here's the incredible thing that happened. What we're told that Jacob did is that he made sticks with spots, and then he would put them in front of where the sheep would come to drink, and and then they would mate, and then they would have sheep with the spots on, just like the stick that he had. Which, if you think about it, it's an incredible thing. What was Jacob showing us is the power of our imagination of visualizing things. Because if you think about it, if a sheep, what the sheep that they conceive is based upon what they're looking at and what's the picture that they have in their mind, then us as human beings, our imagination is so powerful. And if you stop and think, you'll see that it happens in our life, right? Imagine if you're imagining a delicious chocolate cake, and you just you can taste it in your mind. You can smell it in your mind. What happens is you want it, and that desire to have it is so powerful. It's the same thing. If you want money, the picture that we paint in our mind of how our life would look if we have that money, or the same thing if you're in a job and you're not so happy, and we paint a picture in our mind of what it would be like to work for another person, or to work for yourself, or to get out of that place. And that picture that we paint in our mind, it fuels our desire. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's a negative thing, right? Like we pick, go back to that piece of chocolate cake. The picture that we're painting in our mind is often much better than the reality of it. Even if the reality matches up to what we think it's going to be, it's very, very short-lived. But the images that we paint in our mind can be so powerful in a positive way as well. We hear so many stories in Judaism. We hear the story of coming out of Exodus. We hear the story of the mass revelation when God revealed himself to all of us. If we can harness the power of imagination and actually paint that vivid picture in our mind, it will take our faith and our strength in Judaism to another level. When we use the power of our imagination to visualize holy people, good people, people who are living the lives that we want to live, it's so powerful. The imagination has the power to create. Our job is to direct our imagination in what we really want to create. To paint vivid pictures in our imagination of the stories that we're told, so that Judaism becomes alive and real for us. To paint vivid pictures in our imagination of the role models that we have. Imagine, how would they deal with whatever it is that I'm dealing with right now? That's our job. To take this powerful tool, the tool of our imagination, which has the power to create, and to be in charge of it so that we direct what we want our imagination to create. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can get in touch with me. I'm on Instagram at itsgilaross. And please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.